In today's lecture, we will try to explain the biodiversity with reference to evolution by understanding the theory of Darwinism. So, Charles Darwin, an English naturalist, was the most dominant figure. He is the Charles Darwin, and among the biologists of 19th century, and he made extensive study of nature for over 20 years, and he did this is his famous this is his famous beagle, HMS Beagle, and explored South America, the Galapagos Island, and other islands. So he observed on animals' distribution and their relationship with living and their extinct animals, and found that existing animal living forms share some similarities to varying degrees, not only among themselves but also with the life forms that existed millions of years ago. And he got an idea of struggle of existence within all the populations due to continued reproductive pressure and limited resources. In 1858, Darwin was highly influenced by a short essay entitled On the Tendency of Varieties to Depart Indefinitely from the Original Type, written by another naturalist, Alfred Russel Wallace, who studied the biodiversity of Malayan archipelago and came to the similar conclusion. Darwin and Wallace's view about evolution was presented in the meeting of Linear Society of London by Lyell and Hooker on July 1858. Darwin and Wallace's work was jointly published in Proceedings of Linear Society of London in 1859, and so it is called as the Darwin-Wallace theory. So Darwin explained his theory of evolution in the book which is entitled as On the Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection, and that book was published in 24th November 1859. And in this theory, Charles Darwin proposed the concept of natural selection, which is the basic mechanism of evolution. So main postulates of Darwin theory are geometric increase, limited food and space resources, struggle for existence, variation, natural selection or survival of the fittest, and inheritance of useful variations and speciation. Now we will discuss one by one these in detail. First of all, geometric increase. According to Darwinism, the populations tend to multiply geometrically, and reproductive powers of living organisms are much more than they require to maintain their number. And this geometric increase we can understand with the example of paramecium, which divide 3 times by binary fission in 24 hours during the favorable conditions. At this rate, a paramecium can produce a clone of about 280 million paramecia in just a month. So this indicates their geometric increase. Second is the limited resources for food and space. Limited food and space resources, which together form a major part of carrying capacity of the environment, these do not allow a population to grow indefinitely, or they show geometric increase which are nearly stable in size except for the seasonal fluctuations. Another is important postulate of Darwinism is struggle for existence. That's why, as there is limited resources of food and energy, so there is a competition between the living organisms for the basic needs of life like food and space and mating, and this is also called as the struggle of existence. And there are 3 types of competition. First is the intraspecific competitions, which is between the members of same species because they have same type of and they require same type of resources of food and space. Second is interspecific competition, that is competition between the members of 2 different species. And third type of competition is environmental or extra specific competitions. This type of competition is faced by living organisms with their adverse environmental conditions. In all these type of conditions, that intraspecific competition is considered as the much more important competition, because in this type of competition, the competition is for the resources, and resources of food and space is same. So that type of that type of competition affects the more to the diversity of life. Another postulate is variation. Variation is basically the law of nature. According to this law of nature, no two individuals except identical twins are identical. This everlasting competition among the organism has compelled them to change according to the conditions which enable them to survive successfully. Darwin stated that variations are generally of two types, that could be continuous variations or discontinuous variations, and on the basis of their effect on the survival chances of living organisms, variations may be neutral, they may be harmful, or they may be useful. So Darwin proposed that living organisms tend to adapt to changing environment due to useful continuous variations, as they have or they will have all competitive advantages. Natural selection or survival of the fittest. Darwin stated that as many selects the individuals with desired characteristics. In artificial selection, nature also selects the organisms which are better suited, or which are better fittest to survive in that type of environment. Darwin stated that discontinuous variations appear suddenly and will mostly be harmful, so are not selected by nature, and he called them sports. So natural selection is an automatic and self-going process and keep a check on the animal populations. Next important postulate is inheritance of useful variations. Darwin believed that the selected individuals pass their useful or continuous variations to their offsprings, so that they are born fit to the changing environmental conditions. Seven important postulate of Darwinism is speciation. According to Darwinism, useful variations appear to every generation and inherited from one generation to another generation. So useful variations go on accumulating, and after a number of generations, these variations become so prominent that individuals turn into a new species. So according to Darwinism, evolution is a gradual process, and speciation occur after by gradual changes in the existing species. There are some evidences which are in favor of Darwin theory. First of all, there is close parallelism between natural selection and artificial selection, and the remarkable cases of resemblance, for example, mimicry and protective coloration, can be achieved by gradual changes which are occurring simultaneously both in the model and in the mimic. Third is the correlation between positions of nectaries in the flower and length of the proboscis of the pollinating insects. There are some evidences which are against Darwinism. First is inheritance of small variations in other organs which can only be seen when fully formed. For example, wings of the birds. Such organs will be of no use in incipient or undeveloped stage. Inheritance of vestigial organs, inheritance of over-specialized organs, presence of neuter flowers, and sterility of hybrids did not differentiate between somatic and germinal variations, because Darwin haven't differentiated between somatic and germ cells. So he also did not explain the causes of variations and mode of transmission of variations. So, and it is also refuted by Mendel's law of inheritance, which states that inheritance is particulate. So these are the some evidences which were against the Darwin's theory. Thank you.